This podcast has been edited and produced by Bitmark, a marketing agency specialized in digital content. You can find them on social media as at Bitmark. Hello, I'm Gabriel Cada, the creator of Cada Paso. This podcast explores the life of individuals who may not be famous, but that are making a significant difference in their community. We are here to show that there is wisdom and inspiration all around us in the stories of those who quietly impact the world, those that are called the unsung heroes. Hello. Today I have a podcast with Gina Kunadian. Gina is an amazing podcaster. She has her own coaching business. She used to have an alcoholic disorder that took her into really deep trouble. But fortunately, she realized she needed to get help, and she found someone who helped her recover from her disorder, and now is living a full life and have decided to help other women who had the same disorder that she had. And she had been doing this successfully. It was a great story, and I'm very happy to hear that people find their way out from situations like this. Enjoy the show. Please do not forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you enjoy the show. See you soon. Hi, Gina. Nice to see you again. I'm super happy to have you today here in the podcast. So I like to get started with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. First off, I want to say thank you so much for having me on your beautiful podcast. I appreciate what you're doing for the community and having others share their story. And it's so impactful. So thank you for that. And so a little bit about myself. Yes, my name is Gina Kunadian. I'm a women's alcohol-free sobriety coach and also host of a podcast show called Shine Within. I'm a mom of 3 boys and a devoted, loving wife. But my mission here is to just help women get over that desire to drink. Because a lot of women won't admit that, hey, maybe I do have a problem, because they need to question the drink. So I'm there to guide them and support them, because I was a drinker, a professional drinker in my past life. I call it past life because I'm no longer that anymore. And I have gone through everything, you name it, from suicide attempts to sexual abuse to bad relationships to divorce to not having my children with me to hospitalized, and doing multiple treatments, and nothing worked, not even AA. So I had to actually get a mentor to help me figure out who's Gina and what can I do to help others as well. So that's me.
Wow. And what did that mentor do that actually worked?
Yes, great question. So I actually sought out a mindset mentor. It was a friend of mine who was taking her workout classes because she's also a trainer. And she's the one who really helped me change my thoughts in my head, where I didn't have to believe what my mind was telling me all the time. I didn't have to believe it anymore. And for me to have that freedom, that was just wonderful. And plus, she's also worked with me with breath work. Of course, I did fitness training with her because she's a yoga specialist as well. And all these different tools that she's given me. And I just worked with her for maybe 1, 2, 3. I mean, we still in communication, of course, but maybe about 3 years or so. It was great. I loved it. This is after I decided to quit drinking. I was like, I need a change. And so I would work out and everything at 5 a.m. Not everyone's for 5 a.m., but it worked for me. And so that's what I needed to do for my journey, for my sobriety journey. And it was just so much fun. I actually had a lot of fun in my recovery process.
Nice to hear that. So Gina, I think, obviously you got a great coach to work with, but I think also you were ready to hear what the coach was saying. So what made you actually say, I need to get help and I need to do something about this?
Yes. So the hardest thing I notice with people is they have a fear of asking for help because it's a sign of weakness, they think, but really it's a true sign of strength. And whatever wasn't working for me, and I tried multiple things, it wasn't working. And the only thing I didn't try was a mentor. And there's a saying, the teacher will come when you are ready to seek.
Yeah.
So I guess I was just, happenstance that my friend was like, hey, check out this person. Because I wanted to get into more like physical fitness at the time. So I was looking for yoga. But then it just so happened she does mindset coaching as well. So it just worked out beautiful because yoga is all about mind body. What I
Yeah.
was also missing was like the whole spirituality. And so that's when I was really going into myself and learning who I am by doing different practices that helped me, which is mostly like serving the community. And that is something that brought me so much joy. And I just love it, love it, love it.
So that's a continuous comment that I get from my guests, is that when they start serving the community is when they feel better. So that's great to hear. So what was key for you to start that recovery process?
Oh, so looking back, it was in 2017. I was drinking a fifth of vodka a day in order for me to function. So that includes driving. I couldn't drive unless I drank. That sounds very crazy, but it was true. And it wasn't until I would have a routine. So I would leave home, go to the liquor store, go get vodka and a Coca-Cola and mix it in the Coca-Cola bottle, drink it before I drove to work. And I would still have that bottle for work. So I would drink it like in between sessions and everything that I had. But I remember it was raining that day and I was in my car and I always kept plastic bags in case I had to throw up because sometimes it would gag me because I needed it, but I didn't want it. My body was rejecting it because it's like, no, 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 I don't want this. So I would have bags behind me and I remember just crying and throwing up and just tears were just coming down. I felt like so hopeless and so much in despair. And I was like, God, I need help. I need to quit drinking. I need help. That's what I did. I surrendered. And that landed me to the hospital 2 weeks later with pancreatitis, where it allowed me to then detox. And it was a faith-based hospital, surprisingly. And so I actually was talking to some of the doctors, and the doctor who came to me said, hey, if you don't stop drinking, you're going to die in 10 years. And I was in my 30s, I was like, I don't want to die. I have 2 kids, like what am I doing? So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity for me to go ahead and just detox and become sober and then change my whole life, do something different. I really had to sit with myself. I had no visitors for a week. Nobody came to see me. It was really me and myself and God at that time.
Wow. Wow. Incredible. How have you dealt with setbacks? I don't know. I mean, I imagine it's not a straight journey.
Right. It's never a linear process.
Linear
And
process. Is that what I meant? Yeah.
lots of setbacks all the time. But what I feel in our setbacks are more like learning opportunities in areas that we can grow in. So every time I was relapsing, I knew I still wanted like to get sober. That was the goal I had at the end. Like I wanted to become sober. So that was always in the back of my head. I want to be sober. I want to be sober. I want to be sober. So no matter how many hiccups I had, and I had many, I still got through it all and am now here 6 years sober.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, that the end goal was to get sober and that, but I imagine, I mean, now you're mentally strong, you have done all the exercises, you know how to manage your brain and your, like, I guess you know yourself right now. But at that moment, probably you didn't as much.
That's right.
So how were you able to say, okay, I drank today or I took a setback, but it's not the end of the world? Because I suppose at that moment you didn't have the strength you have now. So
Right.
how didn't you say, you know what, it doesn't work?
Yeah, it had to literally be, I had to be hospitalized in order for me to actually sit with myself and be sober. Because when you're drinking, you're numbing all of your emotions. Your inner spirit is there, but I'm numbing that part where then I don't have a connection. So when I was sitting by myself in the hospital, detoxing and just getting better from pancreatitis, I really sat with myself. And then I did a lot of self-evaluation. And that was the only thing that worked. I really had to hit rock bottom. And that was my rock bottom. I've been to jail before. I guess that wasn't my rock bottom. I've been to like rehab, wasn't my rock bottom. It literally was sitting with myself, reflecting on what I was and doing and really making that change.
So I have a question about that. I mean, I hear a lot that you have to hit rock bottom to make a change. But I also hear that nobody changes until that person decides on their own to change. Do you feel that that's the case? I mean, like, no matter what people told you, or did it help that people told you things? Tell me a little bit about that. What is the balance in between helping people and telling them, or letting them discover that they need to make a change?
Right. So you're absolutely right. You have to make a change. There can be people there who are inspirational. It's really up to the individual. And that everybody's path and journey is different. So whatever I went through is exactly what I needed to go through. Doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody else.
Okay.
But yet we can give them the tools that they need, and also the guidance and the love and the support. And then that cheerleader on the side saying, hey, you know what? I'm here if you need a phone call or whatever they need. Because that's what I didn't have. I didn't have any coach or mentor or anything like that before. So I always felt like I was by myself, but I really wasn't, because my spirit was with me. God is with me. And so that's why my favorite thing is like, God is with her. Within her, she will not fall. And I always kept that in the back of my mind. Yes, there's something else bigger out there. It was just a matter of surrendering and having to die to that old self. And then it's like a rebirth. In other words, like I had to know who I am. Why am I here? Who am I?
But let me insist on this. Would it have made a difference if people around you told you you need to change, you have a problem, did that help, or no, it was you until you decided it?
Right. It did not help. Sometimes I felt like it made it worse, because then anger would come up and resentment, and then which would lead me to then drink more. So it really is you. You are the change. You have that power within you, and you can do it. The spirit is waiting to come out and shine. Like it's ready.
Wow, very interesting. How did you make peace with your past? How do you forgive yourself for those things that happened at that moment?
You just have to let go and say, you know what, that was me. I'm grateful for those experiences, but that is no longer myself anymore. And so you just let go. Sometimes you just have to apologize to the people that perhaps that you harmed during your drinking. And what I remember is I would go, no, but this is the thing I remember. No one knew I was really drinking. I always thought that was just normal Gina. Like I said, I had to drink a certain amount in order for me to be normal, quote unquote. But no one knew until I was then in the hospital. The only ones that knew was my husband at the time, my ex-husband. He's my ex now. He's the one who knew, but he was an enabler. So he had issues too when it comes to narcotics and drinking. So two unhealthy people together, that's not going to work, because every time I said, hey, I want to drink, 5 minutes later, boop, it's right there, And so who you surround yourself with really does make a huge, huge difference. And so I slowly had to dissolve my old friends, and we still on Facebook and stuff and chit chat a little bit, but I don't need to hang out with them, and they understand and they're supportive. They want to have that lifestyle. By all means, that's them. I just know where I want to go in life.
Nice. So now you're helping people recover. So what have you learned from that process of helping those people?
Wow. Like I was going back to the whole serving, it brings just so much joy. And what I'm learning is more about myself too. Mm-hmm. As I'm helping others, I'm like, wow, I'm discovering things that they're like my teacher as well. So I always feel like who's ever in our life are our spiritual teachers. You're like my spiritual teacher right now. So I see you as that. And so I really take every interaction seriously, like, wow, this is amazing. What am I going to learn with this person? I get excited. Like it brings like so much joy. Like, how a little kid wake up and they're like, oh, I want to go to Disneyland or something. That's what I feel when I'm helping somebody. That's what I feel like. I get so excited. And I think that energy just transfers to them. And I was like, Gina, I feel your energy. Because sometimes I just have a lot and they're just like, oh, I love your energy, Gina.
And do you remember anything specific that they have taught you? Something that you said, like, can you name 2-3 things that have stuck with you?
Oh, just sharing their experiences. It's teaching me to be more compassionate and loving and understanding, and learning about different people's paths help me to help others in the similar paths that they're going through. So whatever that it is, habits, could be conversations, communication, things like that. So it's really nice to see. It's like a nice, beautiful flow.
Got it. Nice. So what have you learned in recent years that have allowed you to have more moments of happiness besides changing your life completely? But now in your 5 years of recovery, what have you learned that makes you have more moments of happiness?
Wow. So much, what was a blessing is that one day at church, women's Bible study, I was actually in network marketing, and I was in the prayer group of these women, and I was like, oh, just please pray for my business. This was in 2021. So, during COVID time, we were all at home and trying to like make money as much as we can, so however we can. And then this lady is like, you know what? Since you're into business, because I really wasn't into business at the time, she's like, maybe you should check out one of my friend's master classes on Facebook. She does it like every quarterly. I'm like, okay, let me check it out. So that's what I did is I started attending her master classes, which is female entrepreneur women. And so what I loved is like her energy. I was like, oh, I really love this lady. And then I actually got onto the program myself and then collaborated with a ton of women who are business female entrepreneurs that are just in this aligned with how I wanted to be. Like, these are the women that I want to become. So I noticed that as I got sober, I wanted to be surrounding myself with women that I am like, wow, she's so amazing. I want to be just like her, or to have similar qualities. And so what I've learned is this big sense of community that I've been a part of and still a part of. And it's amazing because it's helped me then grow my business, create a podcast, and just meet people like you, Gabby. So I'm so grateful.
What is that masterclass? Can you share that?
Oh, absolutely. So it's quarterly. It's if you go to Facebook, it's I think they just changed the name. It's called the Visibility Lounge, and it's by Rebecca Cafiero. She is a PR strategist and business expert. And she's very loving, and I would suggest go onto that Facebook group, and then you'll get information about her master classes. And
nice.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. So what are you afraid of?
Oh my goodness. I used to be afraid of everything before. Right now, okay, to be real, I'm a little bit afraid of like reptilians, like slithery, like spiders and like snakes, but I don't have fear anymore. I get excitement, or I get a little bit like anxious. It's like, oh, this is something new. But I've discovered that fear will bring that courage once you go through it. So and that's what I've learned. So if anything that scares me, I'm like, ooh, what is this about them? What do I need to pay attention to here? And I'm like, let me try this then. And then I actually I have less and less fear. So I used to be afraid of speaking in public. Like, I would have never done this talking to you right now. I've been like so nervous, just whatever. But once I started like doing it more often and often, it's just like so natural. And this is me. This is me.
Yeah. So I always say that fear dissolve once you face that fear. It's like it melts. Like once you just face it like front and center.
Right.
Yes. But I do have fears.
Yeah, they don't go away.
I haven't overcome all my fears.
Yeah, so there's some snakes that some friend was bringing by. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get over my fear and then like touch it. Now, next step, I'll go ahead and grab it just to see, because maybe there's no reason for me to be fearful. The snake didn't bite me before. It's whatever I'm seeing on TV.
Yeah.
Like Jones with all those snakes, like around there because they're venomous and they'll kill you. So that's what's back of my head. But I'm learning just to like, you know what? Appreciate the snake.
So thinking about a year from now, what would you do that will make you closer to who you are as a person? I mean, something that you're not doing now that you want to do, and that will bring you closer to whoever you want to be. What would that be?
Oh my goodness, there's so many things. For me, is really being out in nature. So whether going to like, okay, my husband and I were talking about going to Kauai and then do that whole hike where it's like a 3-day hike. we want to be close to nature. I feel that that brings me closer to my spirit because I get connected to like the sound, the vibrations, the frequencies of the nature. Like so when the leaves blow off the tree or just everything, I'm really mindful and I pay attention to like earth because I'm so distracted. I live here in San Jose, California, and you hear ambulance, you hear like ruckus and music, blah, 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 which I love music, don't get me wrong, but not at 3 o'clock in the morning. And and so for me, just to be out in nature where it's quiet and serene, that's really when I feel like I'm connected to myself. So more of just being out in nature.
Nice. You're very beautiful. I have a daughter who loves to be in nature. She needs to be connected with nature. I mean, it actually, have you read, watched, or done something recently that you would like others to do, to read or watch, something you would recommend?
Read or watch. So I've unplugged the TV. So I don't know what to watch anymore because that is something that was poisoning my mind because I would like the snakes, like the Indiana Jones. Don't get me wrong, I love the movie, but still like things where I would see and I like it would be stuck in my head and I dream about it. So I've unplugged the TV. But as far as books, like I've actually been reading Rebecca Cafiero's Inner Circle books, which are talking the little short stories about these female entrepreneurs, and they just present their expertise. So whether if it's in health coaching, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in, filming, beautiful women. So I've just been reading a lot of her books. So that's what I've been doing.
If you could meet someone today for eating something, for a coffee, for whatever, what person would you like to meet with, and what question would you ask that person?
It's a beautiful question. So I would say my highest self. I would love to meet her because I'm not there yet. But the divine female energy, the feminine female energy, I want to meet her and I would ask her, what's next? What do I need to do next? I want her to be my guide. And that's what I would love to have a conversation with her.
Nice. This is a great conversation. And I like to end my interviews with a phrase normally that my father will say to me when I was growing up. I'm going to say it in Spanish and I'm going to translate it. And I would say, nunca es tarde cuando la dicha es buena. And that basically means it's never too late when the outcome is a good one. And in your case, it's exactly that. You made a change. It's never too late. You did it and you are remaking your life and you're helping other people have a better life or find the life they want to live. Is there a phrase that you identify with?
Oh, probably the one that is everywhere. I even have it on my mouse pad here.
What is it?
You can see it. God is within her, she will not fall. So this is what I have it everywhere. So that's like my go-to phrase, because that's what I resonate with the most. Yeah.
That is great. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on ginakunadian.com. I'll spell it. It's GinaKunadian.com. And there I have a gift for your listeners. I actually have as a blueprint, 6-step blueprint to living alcohol free. It's the steps that I've taken in my journey that has helped me. And it's cute because it's like journal prompt as well. So you can write afterward whatever I suggest, and then you can write what you want to do. And so it's a gift for your listeners. I'll go ahead and give you the link in the show notes for you to put in. And then that and the social media on Instagram, it's shine_Gina Kunadian. And then I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Just getting back on LinkedIn. I was, I do massage for so many years. I didn't use LinkedIn, but now I'm just getting back on there. And you can just search me, just Gina Kunadian. So
okay, and tell us a little bit the topic of your podcast as well.
So the podcast is called Shine Within, where I bring in women who are experts in their field or just want to share their transformation story. And it's wonderful because it's a women's podcast. And so I'm having on the topics of mindset. I have topics of women's health and then also spirituality. So I get a lot of women. I get from psychics to health coaches to like women who are recovering from alcohol or drugs. I just have it all. And just if they just want to share a good story, hey, come on, come on in. You can go ahead and find that in my website as well.
Great conversation. I love it. Keep this amazing work going, and thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Gabby. It's been an amazing experience. So thank you.
No, thanks to you. Have a good day.